You guys can get us on YouTube and Twitch in the comments. You can call us at 305-567-0560. And by the way, guess on the ticket always brought to you by Toyota of Hollywood. Shop over 2,000 Toyotas on sale at one location, Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. ToyotaofHollywood.com. Keys says the Suns, Heat, and Bulls talking about trading Jimmy Butler and Bradley Beal and Zach LaVine. Then also Memphis is talking with the Heat for a Jimmy Butler trade. Something is going on. I don't know what's going on. Like, I think this is the thing that was interesting. There was another report from Mark Spears on NBA Today on Friday, where again he said Jimmy Butler will go anywhere except for Memphis, which is like, what? All right, because I don't think Memphis is looking at this as a rental. Like, that's what they want.
So
they want to bring Jimmy Butler in and be like, hey, can we get the best out of playoff Jimmy?
Here's the deal, though.
See what the hell happens with it.
Here's the crazy thing about all of this. If Jimmy is all about money,
yep,
the tactics that he's going about to get his money could make him earn even less money.
True.
So if the Heat say, you're not controlling this, we're going to trade you to Memphis. Right? And then he goes there and says, I'm not going to play, or I'm not going to give, the effort. Then what is he going to do? Opt in the following year?
I guess.
And do what?
I guess stay in Memphis. I don't know. If the Memphis trade were to go through.
This isn't, or then if he decides, I'm just going to dog it the rest of the year in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
And then does he think the Suns are going to give him a max next year after what he's shown this last year?
Well, they can't because they're already max. Like, they have to trade for him to pay.
Right.
They have to trade for him to pay. And that's why, like, this is like the Heat are in this spot right now where I think they are trying to do, the thing to get Jimmy to Phoenix. But the problem is it's complex.
And
because
you have it more difficult.
You have a party in Bradley Beal who doesn't have to go anywhere. He doesn't want to. He legitimately has a no trade clause. And so, like, you're trying to find all these scenarios out there. Where would he go? Would he go to the Bucks? Would he go to the Bulls? Where would he go? And it's like, then you have to decide, all right, well, what are they going to do? Like, how do you do it right by them? Because they got to take on Bradley Beal,
right.
So if the next spot is, hey, man, they're ready to move on. Phoenix is done with this. Like, they Phoenix has a big week coming up. I think they're taking on the Wolves and Clippers, who are both above them in the standings. Memphis is, what are they? They're 2 or 3 in the West. Are they 2?
I think they're 3. Well, let me check.
I think they're 3, but only by like a game.
Yeah.
3. It's kind of like the Dame thing where it's like, hey, I don't think you can really get mad at the Heat by doing wrong by you if they trade you to the number 3 team in the West, Jimmy.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Yeah, maybe it's not exactly getting what you want, but isn't the best way for Jimmy to get what he wants? And I think this is where all the frustration lies with everybody is you basically decide to unplug once you found a sucker that wanted to pay you your money immediately, right? It's like once that happened and he realized there was a franchise out there willing to give him the money, he detached from everybody else. Now, okay, once that team's out of the pot, you do have to end up going to earn the extension. And the best way to do that for him is to succeed in the playoffs. And you can't tell me that there's not a better basketball scenario out there for him than teaming up with Morant, Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, you're not saying the Heat are doing wrong by you putting you in that situation. And so if you go and ball out and bring them to the Western Conference Finals, yes, somebody probably will pay you a lot of money next year. Right. But it's like you don't even want to take that chance. So I don't know. It's one of these things where I see that the Memphis thing seems to me from a basketball standpoint to make all the sense in the world, other than for him where it's like, yeah, but I want the guarantee on the dough. So I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know if there's ever going to.
Here's what a lot of people have had to do in this situation. They've had to come to the realization of what the situation is and move on. Okay? The Heat are getting to that point to where, look, we've tried to get other teams involved in getting you to Phoenix. we can't keep putting you on the floor. So we're getting to the point where we'll just trade you anywhere and then you deal with it. Right? Jimmy is not coming off of what he's saying. But in the end, much like the Dame situation, you have to deal with it. And you have to be a professional. And it's not for lack of trying to do the thing but there's too many moving parts, including a part that won't move. So,
exactly.
Right.
And it's like,
so you can't, if Jimmy's upset that he can't get what he wants, you have to come up to the realization it's not the Heat. It's what you are asking is damn near impossible. So here's the alternative. And here's something that maybe everybody won't be happy, but it'll get done. And then you can go and play basketball and build your own future based on how you play basketball. Which, to your point earlier, I think that might be the bigger question, that Jimmy maybe wants money because he knows if he has to go out and play, he ain't quite that guy no more.
Then there's the drama with the other players. Marcos, can you hit our could be something, could be nothing music?
Yeah.
Because I saw something, boots on the gram.
Ooh.
It could be something.
One guy's having fun on the end of that bench with this.
Could be nothing.
Why would they do that? What's going on in Utah?
It could be something. Could be nothing.
What is the meaning of it, Watson? What is the object of this?
Could be something, could be nothing.
Why would they do that?
Now, this is not Kevin Love hijinks, which, I mean, he's hilarious.
It's true.
He's doing great. I mean, he's on an all-time run. But Tyler Herro, he posted a collage of photos, if you will, with the caption, which says, just keep going. With him handshaking Bam.
Oh.
And then Bam repost the photo. And the post. And it got me thinking, they just sick of it, dude. Sick of it. Like, at what point are you going to Spo and Pat and being like, hey, dude, we're sick of it? Like, how many times do they have to sit here and go through this charade of Jimmy Butler playing at a coast level pace? And they're just like, is he in the lineup tonight? Is he not in the lineup? Is he going to try? Is he not going to try? What's he going to do? At what point do you just get sick of it, dude? Wow. So it could be something. It could be nothing. It could just be a nice picture. I don't know. But it made me think, those two as the faces of the team right now, with this whole thing having to be swinging back and forth. They got two big matchups coming up this week with the Magic and the Cavs in town. You would like a little bit of clarity, you would think. One would think. And I don't think we could do this whole thing of like, oh, well, he's there, but you put him on the end of the bench. You just sit him there.
Yeah.
It feels like a disaster.
Hey, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked.
Sure.
Stolen McRib. Sherlock Hams is on the scene.
Did you guys I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the timeline correct. You guys discussed this whole tarmac incident?
I don't know what to make of it, because there was a rumor that was thrown out there that's been shot down, but Channing Frye, who hosts a podcast with Richard Jefferson, I think Kendrick Perkins is on that show too. But he had claimed that the Heat were waiting for hours for Jimmy Butler before heading off to Milwaukee. Now, there's been reports that even Skolnick shoot it down. The agent, Bernie Lee, like, he can't take anything he tweets seriously anymore. He can't trust. I'm sorry, Bernie. We can't trust you. You pulled the Shams okey doke with us.
It's true.
We can't believe you anymore. Your credibility's shot.
Yep.
But it has been shot down that the Heat weren't waiting for hours upon hours with, where's Jimmy?
Yeah. I don't think they'd do that, but they were probably waiting for a little bit.
But it was weird because he did it, right? Like then he flew up to New York for a day. because he had an appearance in New York, then flew back, does this whole thing at the fake pickleball. I don't know what the hell that is. Paddle thing. Fancy pickleball. So he was at the fancy pickleball tournament, and he was telling reporters, I love Miami. Then there was something where he got into like an incident where he got into a shouting match with somebody who was, I'm sure, said something rude.
Yeah.
And you see Jimmy Butler
nice of you to show up, Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy, have you found your joy at fancy pickleball? And Jimmy took offense to it. And so he like went up to this individual. You know, and I don't like people bothering people in public, but I do worry that if you have him just sitting at the end of the bench, you leave the window open for jackassery, where somebody could be a jackass, and this is kind of just sitting there, which again brings me to my whole point of I don't see the point in having him in the building. Just pay him to go away until you figure it out.
Dude,
I don't see the point in it. I don't see the point in it, Leroy.
I understand that, but that's a lot of money.
What am I getting either way? You know, damned if I do, damned if I don't.
Right. That's why he gonna be a Memphis Grizzly.
Yeah. They're lucky. I mean, he's lucky.
And here's the other thing.
I'd trade him to the Wizards.
Believe it or not, I put the reason why Jimmy is a Memphis Grizzly and not a Phoenix Sun is because of Jimmy. Because if Jimmy had been balling, there'd be more teams and he'd have more options.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But because he's doing it this way, there's a lot of teams like, I don't want that drama. I don't want that smoke. Right? So I get it. Like, I understand both sides. I'm never going to be against a guy getting his money. But I am going to have a problem with a guy earning his money. Right? There's a difference in you signing a big contract and you playing hard and you just losing it a little bit. Right? We can accept that. But we can't accept a guy saying, I'm not going to play for you this year because you want to extend me in 2027. That's
Effin Man says,
to swallow.
Did the Heat reward him for taking him deep in the playoff, Tobes? Well, actually, Effin Man, yes, they did. Yes, they did. He's on a max extension right now.
Right.
And now he wants an extra year. Or a year. He didn't play a lot of games and he got bounced. Which, by the way, I was for paying Jimmy because I didn't want this hostility to be here.
But
they have, like, it's not like they've never extended Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's made a lot of money with the Miami Heat.
Here's the problem. You weren't listening or you didn't hear. When Pat Riley talked about the amount of games that people were playing, I think he was more serious than people thought. Okay. And that was a big sticking point with him because, again, all those years you were in the play-in, right? You were talking about if Jimmy had played 5 or 10 more games, we wouldn't even be in this situation. And we talked about 3 or 4 games away from being a 4 seed or something like that. So let's start there. Now with Tyler, it was different. But you see what Tyler did this year? You see his response to that?
Mm-hmm.
The response to those comments?
Play games, ball out.
Right. And that's what Jimmy said he was going to do. So we all thought everything was going to be fine until it wasn't. Now, if I'm Pat Riley and I'm Mickey Arison, that hurts the most. Okay? That's the part of it. Now, here's what I will say. In fairness to the party, all parties involved, we don't know how far back these conversations went. Was it a conversation, I want to be out in the summer, and then it worked its way up until the season, right? Or did it just start at the start of the season? So maybe I think it's a different place because this conversation been going on for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, I think my guess of it is, and my read of it is that sure there was hostility in the summer on both sides, especially between him and Pat because of the no extension and then of course the comments from Pat. I think there were teams that were inquiring about him, Philly, New York, and then he was like, you know what, and the Heat are like, nah, not doing it. And they're like, you're under contract. We still want you to play. We want to see what this team could be. You know, the Heat, I mean, they've had a very big belief in this core, you know, with Bam and with Tyler and all that. Hey, can Jimmy Butler go and actually play basketball? And we'll see where it all rolls out. And there was a certain point, sometime in the middle of December, where it was not as engaged anymore.
Right.
It just wasn't.
Mhm.
So